All right, good morning, everybody. I thought I would start this off. Decided not to do the countdown timer. Um, yeah, just not necessary. I think I got everything set up the way I want it. I think I also have figured out my problem with my tablet issue. And so let's hopefully we can get this through in about a half an hour. It is 9:51 right now. So we are going to hope that we can get the analyze map done as well as talk a little bit about the weather for today uh, in here. To start off with, I need to move this back. Oh, this is the problem with the one problem that I'm seeing with this particular setup. I almost need a third screen. um, is that what I want is for this thing to show me. Oops, not the weather and hazards. Okay, this is where I want to start with. Okay, just a quick look at what's going on, and you can see low pressure. This is the 9Z analysis. So that was at 5 a.m. this morning. We are now at 1352. Yes, 1352 Zulu, and 9:52 a.m. in the morning here. So the 12Z is already out. Well, it's not quite ready. It's not the. It takes a couple of hours before they have the complete analysis done when they're doing this at WPC. So it's not online yet. It will be here shortly, though. I'm pretty sure. So probably while the time that I'm analyzing this map, they are probably going to release the new one. So we are going to get at it right away here. And yeah, we've had this big area of low pressure. It caused all of our rain that we had on what day? Let's see, Wednesday. Yeah, big slug of it. I mean, it wasn't terribly heavy. I mean, half an inch, 3/4. Most of the stuff was right around 3/4. Give or take a couple of tenths. There might have been some place that got to an inch, but as far as things are going, it just made everything wet. We are losing enough of our frost that there, and it's able to at least permeate some of it. So it makes everything kind of wet and muddy around here. And that was one of the things that I was told way back when I first got here, which was March and April are usually mud season, especially out in the area where I used to live before in Gaylord. So, as I said, we're just going to jump into this map, and I'm going to use the technique that I did the other day, which is I am going to look for the low pressure and mark it, which I think I can do this. So here's at least one low, and I can see probably another, sorry, right about in here. And if you're wondering how I'm doing that, let's switch to a different color here. We'll take these off here in a second, but you can kind of see the winds are going in this direction. So we've got a low circulation there. We obviously have this one here, and if you look, there's that 999. So it's just below 1,000 millibars. And the winds are coming in like this, and some of it splits this way, going into the. So this is the remnants of that low that we had the other day. And so we are going to erase all the green. And if you remember, and I have to erase the red there for a second too. We'll put that back in. Oops. Switch back to red. Okay. And if you remember, the radars are automatically overlaid on all this. So this is what we're looking at, all the rain. And some of this is snow mixed in, or it is just snow. And we'll maybe, if we have some time, we'll take a look at that here a little later. So we've got 1,000 millibars. Oops. Roughly in that particular area. 0, 0. And then there's another 1,000 millibars right about in here. Maybe he's a little generous on the north side of that. Yeah, we'll just go with it. 2. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let's erase that. Oh, yeah. Now, the one thing is that the more I do this, the faster I get. So that's one good thing about doing these. It kind of forces me into getting into my mind what I'm trying to be doing here. Oh, I did not see that before when I was looking at the other one. Oh, and there's something there too. Yeah, some new stuff. Yeah, Mary was getting ready for her live that she was doing. So if you're into Avon and her putting on her doing her coffee and makeup on Fridays, you should check out. It's not on her profile though. She's got a group that she does of Avon, but if you want in on there, you just have to ask her. So, 04. 04. There we go. Yep. 04. 4. Okay. Had to move the tools here a bit. Let's see. We'll put that 04. Oops. Yeah, not the best penmanship. Never had the best penmanship, and then, of course, as we get into the digital age, we type more. So probably still write in cursive. I don't know how legible it would be, but I don't like the way I did that one. Let's do this instead. This is probably more accurate. So there's a little bubble high in there. Okay. And then we'll do 06. Now, what I had caught earlier was the fact.
Excuse me, there is a message for you.
Thank you. Was the fact that I saw that there's another low pressure system in here, and it's out on the East Coast. Let's do this. Let's extend the 4s. 4. And the 2 millibar goes out to about here. And there's another 1,000. And let's put the low in there. So this whole mess here, I call it a mess. It's just it's it was what was the low that was out in the northern plains the other day. And the one thing with that low was that it was also stacked underneath its 500 millibar low in the upper atmosphere. And when that happens, you tend to get, when you get stacked lows in the atmosphere, they start to fill. The best example of when that's happening is when you get the occluded front, which we will get one on here today. And sometimes you'll notice that there is a purple front that has both warm and cold nubs uh, on the same side, where usually they're facing opposite sides. And that's because cold air has wrapped around and pushed the warm air out of the way so that it's above all the cold air. Or so you've got cold air, and then you've where the warm front was, and then you have cooler air. If you could watch my hands, you'd understand. We'll talk about that here in a second. If I pull up a diagram too, I didn't think about that at the time. Wasn't necessarily planning that out. We got a second here. Maybe I can find one on a diagram of a occluded front. But here we go. Let's see here. I wanted to. Oh, there we go. Oh, no comments so far. All right. Well, since I usually do this as a surprise to everybody, I'm not really expecting a whole lot. Let's see here. We'll do 14. Oh. There we go. That extends out the East Coast too. I really like this Apple Pencil, but the one thing that I always have a problem with all of the tablet pencils, the problem is that there's not the same type of drag that you're used to when you're writing with a pencil or a pen on paper. And so it's sometimes I blame some of my illegibility on here, on that, because it's just too slippery with this little plastic tip that it's got on it. 20. But I have started to learn how to control it better as I've done more of these, so it does help. And you can kind of see that the atmosphere is getting, this low was pretty decent for a springtime low. I've seen some deeper ones, but not by much. I mean, 999 is pretty decent during the year. Now we had those that one storm when I was doing this, and that got into the 980s as far as millibars are concerned. And that is impressive because and Grand Rapids actually set a record, I think, for the month back in March with that storm, or was it the end of February with that storm? Because it went right over Grand Rapids. And I thought to myself, wow, you mean it outperformed I thought the 78 or 79 storm had done something with that, the winter storm in January. But as I said, that the low passed right overhead. I said, that is true, because the actual low pressure center for those storms didn't pass directly over Grand Rapids. I think they went south of the Grand Rapids area. I don't remember. I remember it going out over top of Port Huron. So it probably went from about Chicago to near Kalamazoo ish, and so the lowest pressure, which that storm was a big bomb. It's like, holy cow. Of course, back then I was but a young tyke, and everything. Most people, they see everything in inches of mercury. So I remember it was a 28 or 27-inch mercury um, storm, which is low. That is the case. Of course, once I started learning about millibars, which was when I got into college, then then all bets are off. Everything's done in millibars, or as they also say, hectopascals. Let's see. There's 28, 28. Hmm. We could probably do this, and we can erase this, and we go back. 28. So the highs, whoops, that's not what I want to change. Here. There's a high up here, probably farther north, and then there's a little high here, bubble high. And we just have high pressure coming off of the into the northern plains right now, following this. Most of this is compensating, because this is such a low pressure system. And we got pretty much most of what we got here. So there's a secondary cold front that's become a main cold front on the backside of this low, which has fragmented. And there is some sort of a boundary temperature-wise, so we will demark that as a boundary. Let's see here. We'll start it off as a cold front here, and change it to a warm front here. So that's going this way. And the cold air is trying to go this direction. This cold air is going this way. All right. Okay, so if you notice, let's see if I can highlight this. Let's change it from this dark green. Let's see if we can get something else that stands out a little better. Let's try this. Maybe. It's also being done as a... And we'll make it... we'll thicken it up a little bit. Okay. We'll use the highlighter here, see if we can't do something here. What I wanted to show was, if you look, our temperatures on this side of the low in here are all in the lower to mid 30s. And on this side are even into the 40s. Oh, yeah, so it gets into the 40s down here, too. So that's I just made a mess, didn't I? Let's get rid of those. But you can kind of see that there is there is a bit of a change in the air mass down here. Let's go back. So I can say this one here. There's a cold front there, ish. But there isn't much of a boundary change here. This is where I was getting it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change to purple. And this one is about like this. You could even probably say that there isn't much of a front anymore. It's more like a trough and wind shift line. And so an occluded is front is kind of like this, alternating. It's still kind of moving in this direction. So what you've got is, and in this case, the air is just so similar on either side, and it was into the 40s. And I wanted to say that, so this is pretty much the way the map would look like to me today. And we can kind of check that. Or we're kind of done here. I'll take that off my tablet. And you're still seeing it here. I got to find my cursor. There it is. And we can say done. And that saves it to bookmark added. I'm not letting the bookmark. And so, and that's exactly what WPC did. They just marked it as a trough. This was where, in fact, this second system, you can kind of see. Let's go to the interactive page. Oh, 12Z. So like I said, it was due to come in here. Oh, so they don't have it as a occluded front yet. So the warm sector is really small. So it's about to occlude. So basically the cold air is going to overrun this warm air, so that you've got cold air on this side of the warm front, and you've got cold air, you've got warm air here. It's the 50s. And then you've got cold air on this side of the cold front, and it's pushing in, and it overtakes the warm air and pushes it up, so that you've got cold air versus colder air ish. They actually have this as a stationary front all the way down through. Okay, well, I'm not sure I agree with that, but because we do have a push of cold air, and it is coming through. We're getting some snow all the way down into Illinois and Iowa this morning. That'll probably change over to rain for them as temperatures warm through the day. We, on the other hand, are probably going to stick with some sort of a mix or snow like it is here at Houghton Lake. So that's something that we'll have to take a look at. So that's their. We'll get rid of a couple of these. We'll do the overview. So the idea here today is mostly rain. That's day 3. There we go. So it's a mixed precipitation, which is kind of what we're thinking. And all the lows, the weather valid at 8 a.m. Friday to 8 a.m. East. So this is all the way through. The weather is this. The fronts are valid this morning. Okay, so it's pretty much the same sort of thing. Oh, yeah. See, and then they had a occluded front. So that was what I was expecting here. Different. And they do that on different. Let's see if we can do the interactive one here. Yeah. So we can zoom in. Too far. There we go. Yeah, so they had an occluded front, as well as then this coming off here, where they had everything done by troughs. And then the troughs out here. I would argue that there's probably a cold front off of this one, but to each his own. We all kind of have our own sort of interpretations when we get that. Oh, I don't want the daily weather map. Okay. So that's where we're at there. We will take a look at I pulled up the WRF ARW, which has a tendency to do pretty well with our area, especially with lake effect. And it's trying to lake effect, but our 850 millibar temperatures, basically 5,000 feet, are not quite warm enough with the lake water temperature to really get anything going. And so we've got this mix. So it's cold enough for us to snow through here. Let's just take a look at the forecast real quick. Yeah, scattered rain and snow showers before 1 p.m., scattered rain between 1 and 2, and then scattered rain and snow showers. So we'll get just warm enough, at least the way that our software looks at it, just warm enough for it to become all rain, and then it goes back. It starts to mix with snow. And then we're going to probably see some snow showers overnight. Let's see if it had that on there. Nope. Oh, and I closed the other one. All right. Maybe we can. So what I was going to say is there's a good slug of cold air up in this general area, and so it's probably going to actually start to snow down in our area, but lightly. It doesn't quite get to lake effect sort of things, but things will be banded. It might almost be cold enough up in the UP, but I don't think it quite got to that point. Actually, we can take a look at. Let's see here what Levi's got on his. Oh, thermodynamics. Let's take a look. 850. That's what I need. 850. So we're looking at. It's cold enough. Let's see. 0, darker, -10. Yeah, we need to start getting into this thinning out. It's not quite into that. It's like -10 at the coldest with this. Here, this during that. You can see that colder air. Oh, there, they've got contours. I didn't see them before. They have them marked. Not quite. All right, so here's the 0 line. And what they got them marked? Probably every one, looks like almost every 1 degree. So 1, 2. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's 10. So -10 about is the coldest air. And with the water temperature right around freezing or a little warmer, that's difficult to get lake effect going. You need a difference between the water temperature and this 850 millibar surface of about 13 degrees Celsius. So, because that is the what is it? The dry adiabatic lapse rate. So it makes things very unstable. We'll just put it that way. And so you get that instability over the lake, and that's where the numbers go. Okay. Well, let's see here. I started at 9:51, and now we are almost a half an hour in. And I got the map analyzed. So that's good. So we could talk a little bit about the weather if that's what you want to do, and hang on here. But I get Facebook telling me all sorts of stuff. This was a morning where I ended up with getting up and finding out that my Apple was doing something on my phone and tablet, and then I found out also that Facebook had logged me out here at the house, and then I needed to log back in. So I was like having to find all my different devices so that I could get everything updated. It was just kind of a pain here this morning with that. But here we are. All right, so let's go back to the main office page. And we will look at the weather story graphics down here. Yeah, so scattered rain and snow showers today. That's pretty much what we're just looking at across northern Michigan, northern lower, eastern upper. 35 to 45 degrees. Warmer temperatures are ahead in that we are looking for making a run at 60s on Monday, but we really looks like we are going to make it Tuesday and Wednesday. There is another. Oh, that was what I wanted to show on here. So let's go back to the precipitation map. Radar rated frozen, and we are going to go to the global, to GFS. All right. So what I wanted to show here is farther out. So this is Monday, and that one goes by, and I don't know how much we're going to get. The GFS keeps saying it's going to look like this. Let's see if the new European. I see Levi's got 6Z run on here now, so and we're getting some more data. Yeah, the European's still showing everything breaks apart, and that was the thing, is that there is a system down here, and there's a system up here. And typically, when we see this, at least in my mind, what ends up happening is that we get stuck in, maybe it would be a compensating subsidence, basically dry air, because there's two low pressure systems, and the air gets up to the upper part of the atmosphere. It kind of acts like a cap, and it forces all the air down somewhere else. Well, this would be the somewhere else during this, right over northern Michigan. So my guess is because we've seen this lots of times, that the European probably has a better handle on this. We'll go back to the GFS for now. It goes out farther. And so we get through that. And then next Wednesday, let's see, what's the time on this? Yes, here we are. Okay. This is Tuesday night, Wednesday morning-ish, 6Z, which is 2 a.m. on Wednesday. This meandering low, just like we had earlier this week, only this time it stays farther to the west. It continues north, so we'll get into a big slug of moisture. This is interesting that the big slug of moisture now looks like it's going to be in the UP. But we are getting into definitely some warmer temperatures. That's why on Wednesday we're expected to get 63, because we're going to get a flood of warm air. And then it goes through, and then we just get these, basically light showers the rest of the time. And the low spins up here into the north and then moves out. So this system is going to be it's creeping northward. So we'll see how this turns out. Now, there is some stuff that's trying to break through here. I see the GFS is finally going towards what the European had yesterday and the day before, which is this rain band coming through here. So that'll be interesting to see how that evolves over the next week. And then some more misses off of that, and then high pressure. We could end up with a pretty decent little, decent weather for a couple of days in there. Then the low pressure comes out, and then it looks like we get a big shot. This is 18Z on Friday. Okay, so it's 340 hours out. As you know, what I say is, like, never trust your own forecast past day 3, because the models are going to change on you, and no matter what you think, you can go with your gut feeling on what model you think is handling it best and what's going to happen, but that doesn't always work out. So that's kind of with what we are looking at over the next roughly, that's more than 10 days. 240 hours is 10 days, and 384 is somewhere in the 2-week range. Excuse me. Let's just take a look at the chilly temperatures will continue today into Saturday with scattered rain and snow showers around. Temperatures are then expected to warm into the 50s and lower 60s across northern Michigan for the first half of next week. Plenty of sunshine is in store to close out the weekend. Rain chances return to the area on Monday. So it is getting towards spring. So we are definitely getting closer. I know we lost a bunch of snow yesterday at the office. We are probably going to end up on the low side. This is in town, where they've only had 101 inches, and so they're like 34 inches off. The office is not on this one. Sault Ste. Marie ended up above normal, which, they're usually not too bad most of the time. Traverse City was around normal. West Branch was around normal. Houghton Lake was a little on the low side, as well as Alpena. and then Petoskey, and that was, the south and east. You go. Houghton Lake was kind of the odd spot with that, but those are some of the interesting amounts there that we've got. Snow depth. This is what I was kind of interested in seeing. So let's take a look at the snow depth. So this is done by a computer model / satellite imagery. So it still has us with 6 to 8 inches of snow. And I tell you, if you look at our webcam, yeah, the snow is completely melted around our snow stake that we have for the webcam. So that's the thing, is that models are only so good. But the modeling of this, especially after that last rain, we are pretty much getting done. And here's the office webcam, and you can see there's some snow out in the woods, and that's always typical. But anything else out there is just completely gone. And I know the snowmobile trail along Old 27 going to the office is, it's just the dirt track, or gravel track that it normally is. So, that is what we were looking at. WPC. Okay. Let me go back to their main page. And that's just for fun. We will take a look here. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay. So here's the morning analysis. 12Z. Here's what we're expecting. So we got that purple, which is mixed. And chance, likely. We got rain off to the southeast. Here's 8 o'clock tonight. Expecting it to change to snow. Expecting it to keep on snowing. The snow amounts are not that big a deal. They're pretty minor. I mean, it's an inch or less for the most part. I can't discount that someone might get a 2 or 3 inches, but most likely it's just an inch or less. Saturday morning, it's falling apart. Boom. We dry out. Saturday evening, high pressure. We start getting into that warmer air. The low comes in on Monday. We got a chance for rain again. The warm front comes through. The cold front comes through on Tuesday. And then the real warm air comes in with this system. I had a call from somebody the other day going to Minnesota and asking about heavy rain and thunderstorms. It's like, no thunders probably. Rain, I mean, it just depends on what you like. Heavy rain. What is heavy rain to most people? I don't know. I know it's an inch in an hour for me, and that really comes down hard. So I've been in torrential downpours in Florida, and I've been in rain showers up here. And I'll tell you, yeah, that's not heavy rain. The Florida stuff is definitely heavy rain. So, and then we get into Friday. So looking through all these, the WPC map, which also uses our grids, this is what we're expecting coming up here. So, going to be a pretty nice day. Well, I see him at the 40-minute mark, or pretty close to it. I figure after we talked about 10 minutes here on the weather. So we'll go ahead and we'll close this out for the day. And I will say, bid all of you an adieu. And have a great week. End.